The Thurgood Marshall Award recognizes extraordinary commitment and initiative in pursuing equal justice and opportunity for all Americans. The 2024 Thurgood Marshall Award recipient is John Britton. Mr. Britton broke barriers as the first Black faculty member of the University of Connecticut School of Law, where he taught for 22 years.
60 years ago, the Civil Rights Act was passed by Congress and signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson. 5 years later, a young John Britton graduated from Howard University Law School. He spent the next 55 years as a fighter for racial justice, an influential scholar, an inspirational teacher, and a mentor to the next generation of civil rights warriors. John's most significant litigation and scholarship is in the fight for racial and economic equity in education. Of the many cases that he worked on, 2 are of special note. John led the innovative litigation to desegregate the public schools in Hartford, Connecticut. By the end of the 1980s, when the case was brought, the United States Supreme Court had thrown up repeated barriers to the enforcement of Brown v. Board of Education. John turned to the state constitution and filed in state court, creating a desegregation plan that included the rich suburbs as part of the remedy. John also served as co-counsel in litigation to address the long-standing underfunding of historically Black colleges in Maryland. After more than 15 years of bitterly contested litigation, John helped achieve a settlement that resulted in a $577 million payment to Maryland's 4 historically Black higher education institutions. John is committed to the legal education of lawyers who will fight for civil and economic rights and has served on the faculty of several HBCUs. But most importantly, he's been an inspiration and a role model for Black law students. His influence inside and out of the classroom is impossible to overstate. He requires rigor, but teaches with compassion. He is perceptive, humble, and generous, and creates an environment where excellence is the only possible outcome. His students speak about him with a reverence that is reserved for the most inspirational teachers. He loves his students and is beloved in return. John is an avid runner. He brings the same spirit to his running that he brings to civil rights advocacy. John and I worked together briefly at the law school. During that time, John circulated a video to the faculty of a race that he had recently won. Early in the race, John took a bad fall, one that would have ended the contest for most people. But John got up and pushed forward to victory. That is how John runs and how he fights for justice. No defeat is final. He gets up and he pushes on to victory. I can think of no one better to receive the Thurgood Marshall Award from the DC Bar.
Congratulations to John Britton.